everyone, and welcome back to the Laboratory of Mayhem. Today, I've gotten a delivery from the postman. My Imperial of Conqueror. Somebody should really do something with the English translations with some of these. Obviously, it's meant to be Imperial Conqueror, but either way, let's see what we got here. This is from Coomodel. It is a 1/6 scale skeleton dressed up with his Conquistador outfit. Very nice box, very nice packaging. The images look really cool. Set this over here. Open them up here. Now, in all honesty, this is not the first time I've had him out of the box. When I first opened this thing up, here's how he looks inside the box now. When I first opened him up, there were a pile of bones in the bottom of the box here, and everything had fallen and gotten rather disheveled. So he's not the most securely packaged guy. It's pretty easy to put him back together, but we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so I'm going to pull him out here, like so. Now this is him with his breastplate on. It's a really nice looking skeleton. I've had a couple plastic versions of 6 scale skeletons, and they're very delicate, very fragile. This guy, he's got some pretty solid knee and elbow joints. The hip and the shoulders are a little bit loose. It's not terrible, and it will hold a position pretty well until you put the weapons in his hand. I wish that they had shipped this with the breastplate off, because they put the breastplate on and it tore on mine, so I'm going to have to replace this thing here. Also, the breastplate doesn't fit together very well as it sits on here. He does have a detachable skull, and there's a little brain that you can put in there. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense for my needs, but everything else should kind of be decayed like that. Here is his helmet. It's a great looking piece. The workmanship, the casting on the metal pieces are fabulous. However, I would say that while I appreciate the effort with the metal, I think if it were a resin armor, it would hold up a little bit better and would be a little bit easier to maneuver, and you would be able to keep it in place better. This kind of flops around like that very easy, because it just doesn't sit well on the figure. Now, you get some cool accessories with this guy. Come on. Just set him down for a second. I think this is the best part of the whole piece, is the cast metal flintlock. That's really neat. A lot of detail in it, which is pretty cool. For a very old skeleton, he doesn't look particularly weathered or anything like that, so you'd have to do that yourself. He does come with an aluminum sword here, and it's a good thing it's made of aluminum, because I had this in the hand, and the right arm on mine is much looser than the left arm, so you can switch, because there's gripping. You get 6 hands. There are open hands, gripping hands, and pistol hands. And I believe the pistol hands actually have wire inside them, so you can pose them a little bit. I wouldn't go too crazy with it, but it is something to be aware of. If it were a steel sword, there's no way this thing would be able to hold it up. Okay, so it looks amazing, and it's got a huge amount of potential for your posing options if you're not going to do a whole lot with it. As I said, there is some looseness in the joints. The right leg on mine falls apart very easily. That's kind of tricky. Here's the pistol gripping hand. My biggest complaint with it, outside of the torn strap on the armor, I wish that they had included several more of the wrist joints. The wrist pegs are very, very fragile. You're going to have to be very careful, apply a little bit of heat. Definitely don't try to do it cold to take these out, and just kind of wiggle them a little bit. I wouldn't recommend frequent swapping out of them, because sooner or later I think they are going to break. The hands are plastic, as I said. I think that they're somewhat flexible, and there might be a wire inside. I'm not sure. But when I heated mine up with the heat gun, the shape of the fingers changed quite a bit. As they cooled off, they got a little bit better. But as I said, there might be a little bit of a wire effect inside. I'm not sure. The leather parts are just pleather. The pants are just sort of a very jagged, very scissory looking. They don't look really torn at all. There is a huge amount of customizing possibility with this guy. For an out-of-the-box setup, I was a little disappointed. Again, the tear in the armor, the weight of the armor as it doesn't sit together very well. The head has a tendency to pop off the back if you put the brain inside. The left shoulder or the right shoulder is very loose, and the right hip the leg tends to drop off the right hip on mine very easily. It is a great looking figure. It's metal, so it's going to be a lot more durable than your plastic options, and it does look really good. Because it's metal, I think you're going to have an easier time adding things like decayed flesh and some special effects like that, which will be pretty cool. It would be neat if the belt were actual leather, because I think it would hold up a little bit better. But that's kind of like what you get. He's short. He's about 11 inches. I don't know what the height of your average Spanish conquistador was in the 1500s. It might be pretty accurate. But if you put him stand him next to, say, Mexican Iron Man here, he's rather short. He's like, hey, he might be more intimidating with his weapons in his hands. If you're going to put him in a display, I think you're going to need something to do a lot of weathering on it, and it will be a great piece with all that on there. I think I'm going to make some new clothes for him. Maybe some boots that are kind of ripped apart, and you can see the bones through there with some flesh. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this guy, but be warned that you will have some of these issues with the figure. I got mine at TNS Toys. I got him as a pre-order, so he should be in stock and available to ship right about now. Like I said, it's fabulous looking. The helmet doesn't stay on there very well. It tends to fall off with any vibration. It's just a simple crotch grabber stand, but because it's just bones under here, he wobbles a lot on it. It would probably be better if you have some cushioning or something underneath there to kind of hold him on a little bit better. Or if you're familiar with the 6-scale toys, you might actually want to put a waist grabber stand on him to hold him up. Again, be careful with the wrist joints. There are things you can work around for $150, which isn't a whole lot in the 6-scale collecting, but still, it's just a skeleton. I think it's a bit. And I get it, the cost, the production cost is probably pretty high because he is all metal. But I think it could have been a better value with some changes to it. It's a great effort, and I applaud the attempt at it. And I think it's probably the best looking 6-scale skeleton we've gotten so far. But be advised that it's not going to be without its problems. Anyway, thanks for watching Laboratory of Mayhem. Check back when probably tomorrow or maybe Saturday I'm going to be doing a review of the Present Toys Blade Vampire Hunter. Thanks for watching.